Thank you for joining us and welcome to our Collingwood House studio. I'm Jules Hallam and today I'm delighted to be able to introduce the Skints.
Yo!
Hello.
How's it going today, guys?
Good, man.
All good, yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
And of course, we were just talking, you've got your second album recorded.
Yeah.
When can we expect to hear it?
Officially, April the 9th. Unofficially, if you've pledged for it or if you catch us on the road before then around early March.
It's kind of an interesting project because it was, as I understand, 100% crowdsourced, the funding for it.
That's right, yeah.
Did you, and not just that, you got all the funding in 11 days, just under 2 weeks. Were you surprised?
Yeah.
Very surprised, yeah.
They told us we couldn't do it in like 80 or something.
Basically, we were looking for an amount of money that we wanted to go studio and like press it with and sort of cover the album costs with, and they were like, judging by like how big you are, how big we think you are and stuff, like, oh, we don't know if you do that in 3 months, like, so we cut it down a little bit. Then we said, and they said, okay, well, you know, if you don't do it in 3 months, then you're not going to get any money. And we were like, no, it's cool, like, we reckon we can make this work. And then 11 days later, boom, we've like funded the album, we booked studio time, and we went in like within 2 or 3 weeks. So,
well, maybe you guys are onto a smart thing here. The scene that you guys are in is kind of fragmented, so it's like you guys could be almost leading the resurgence of that kind of music.
I don't know, man. We're just doing our thing, you know. Like, all we can do is do us. Like, we can't really do something and then be like, come on, guys. And then march this army of like Spanish.
You're either with us or you're against us.
Yeah, nah, it's not that, man. Like, we just do us. But
what do you make of the kind of reggae ska scene in London?
In London specifically,
yeah.
It's like, I would say, like, it's alright, like, but as far as like sound systems and DJs go, but as bands go, like, it's not really, I wouldn't say there's much of a scene. There are like, obviously there are like bands and stuff.
There's a lot around the country though.
Yeah.
You know, like bands from like other cities.
So
like
it's quite
London,
spread out.
Yeah, London in particular.
Yeah. I wouldn't say we're like fully attached to like any one movement in the UK anyway, or it's in London anyway, because we've always just sort of gone out and done our own thing with like loads of different people, so yeah.
It's weird because like you go back all the way to the really early days of the Skints, and it's like, you know, we were just really a school ska pop punk band, you know what I mean? It was like, it was a very different thing to what it actually ended up becoming. Like it was a very gradual process, and like I think it was like probably like early 2007 that I joined, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like May, wasn't it? I think the first show we did was down in Brixton.
Yeah, and like that's when we start, like, I don't know, slowly it just started just turning more towards the whole reggae sort of vibe, you know, because more kind of songs in that kind of ilk was starting to be written. Okay. And so it kind of,
I think as well, like, if you look at where we started, when we was like listening to like ska and that, like we was into like specials and whatever, like when we were young, and that was kind of like our thing, and in our friendship group, like jungle was like a big thing, so obviously there was a lot of like reggae and like dancehall influence coming from that for us, and it's very natural. It's not like we said, oh yeah, right, no one's doing this, we want to do it.
So it was a combination of the music you were listening to and your kind of surroundings and lifestyle.
And bands like Capdown at the time that were like doing something with ska, you know, like and I guess the King Blues, you know, back when we were at school, like bands like that were doing something with ska and showing everyone that it was a thing, kind of, I think had a big part of it as well. Like not exactly influenced the music, but the movement.
Right. Well, obviously this is our opinion, but if you guys have got any feelings about the London ska reggae scene or that kind of thing in the UK, do let us know, leave a comment below this video, hit us up on Twitter and Facebook and stuff. And did you work with Prince Fatty on the first album, or is this just come around for this one?
Guy. There's a guy called Peter Miles who we worked with for the first record.
Okay.
It was, at the time, it was based in
Devon.
Yeah, well, he's still in Devon, but he's in the, what was the name of the place? Hornbridge.
Hornbridge.
Yeah, Hornbridge Studios was the name of the place, and it was like this massive bit of land basically with like lakes and streams and stuff and big like hills and mountains you could climb. So it was a pretty awesome place to make a
land of dreams.
Yeah, it was a land of dreams. It was.
Did you do some exploring last year?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
We were there for like a week or something, right?
It was
So
wicked. We had like bonfire.
Yeah.
Oh, it was wicked.
Oh, amazing.
It was a good environment to record the record. It was like the first album I don't think could have had the sound it had if we hadn't been in such an amazing place.
Yeah,
right,
So
right.
it's like, yeah.
How did it compare to writing in the countryside, being in Brighton?
This one was difficult. Like we finally kind of learnt just the extent of how disciplined reggae music is. If we're going for like an authentic thing, which we were, and like it was just like, no, do it again. No, that fill was too rock. Do it again.
It's like a
no, you know,
So
it's
really
just
kind
like,
of-
yeah.
It was like literally like you see like in kung fu movies when the young apprentice has to like go to the mountains to see this like wise old guy.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
get
like
trained
Pai
and
Mei.
trained and trained. Yeah, that's Prince Freddie. Man. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Not too sure how he'll feel about that.
Sensei Fatty, man. We got trained, man. And do you know what? Like we come out the other side as like, you know, warriors.
Well, you've got your first single, Ratatat, coming out in February 2012, and that is really bassy and really kind of raw and in your face, which is a contrast to the last stuff, which is perhaps more light-hearted.
We agreed as well, like Ratatat, even though like on the first album there was like some like rock guitars and stuff, like Ratatat is the heaviest song we've ever written, just because of like, like
that different environment, different.
It doesn't have to be rock music to be heavy. That's what we learned. It doesn't have to be distorted or anything like that.
Marcy, I've just noticed past your beautiful dreadlocks that you've got kind of a scar on your forehead.
No interviewer has ever asked me about my scar before.
How did you get it?
This is the world exclusive story of Marcy's scar. No, it's alright. I bet when I was 5, I was playing on the stairs, and instead of banisters we had glass. It was like the original Victorian glass in the house. And I grabbed my mum's handbag and I was like swinging around and I went right through. And if you look very closely, my boyfriend thinks this is awesome. If you look very closely, it goes there, stops at my eye, and then continues on the other side of my eye. Yeah, like scar.
That was a scar on a line.
Yeah.
A really close shave, that one.
That's it.
Has it affected you in any way, or is it just
no, man,
a reminder of what can happen when you run
When I was
through
younger,
glass?
like doctors used to be like, doctors used to be like, you know, you can have all this makeup to cover it up, and you can see a dermatologist, and I thought it was wicked when I was younger. And then when I was a teenager, I wasn't so sure.
Yeah, that is natty, mate. So how do you guys feel about London these days? Because obviously you've lived in London your whole lives. What do you think of the environment? Do you think it's a great environment
Love
for
it and hate
writing
it.
your music,
Yeah.
or do you want to go somewhere else?
Always loved and always hated
It's
it.
such an abusive, like, it's like being in an abusive relationship where, like, you love it, you really love it, and you know, and it's fun, but you know, then you try. And
You're
get
not speaking from
achievement
experience, there, are you?
No, I'm just saying, it's just like, you know, you love it, you grow up there, and it's like,
and then one day it just beats you.
Yeah.
You don't know what to do about it.
I was trying to make
But you love it.
an elaborate and beautiful metaphor.
Yeah, it's
and
like London, I
also-
love you, but it's bringing me down.
Yeah, totally. I mean, like, say there were times when I just like want to leave this like town because it's like
Pack your bags,
it's
get out.
ridiculous, but at the same time, in all the cities we've been to, it's the most interesting, you know, most variety. Like I do love it here.
So obviously you've got the album coming out in March, April, and the single Ratatat at the end of February, and the touring, of course. What else does 2012 hold for the Skints?
Ooh.
We're going back to Europe this year, and we're going to be doing a headline tour for the record after summer at some point, and then that's as far as we're planning at the minute. We're just sort of trying to get the summer and post-summer booked up, but yeah,
Just loads of stuff,
mate. It's got
sounds like you're the hardest working band in reggae.
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm trying to think who else. Yeah, go on then, we'll have that.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, the hardest working band in reggae.
Hardest working band at something. I don't know about it.
The Skints. It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah, nice one.
Thanks
mate.
for your time.
Cheers. Wicked.